The show where there are no penalties, nothing is offside, and everything is fair game. This is The Gloves Are Off.
Welcome to another edition of The Gloves Are Off. I'm Moses Woldu. We got a great show for you. Of course, we'll talk about the Bobcats' Game 4 overtime victory. We'll also talk about the fallout from the trade deadline a week ago. And of course, Barry Bonds, his back, and he's 30 pounds lighter, and his head is slightly smaller. Speaking of big heads, by the way, I got two guys right here. Greg Buchanan.
Years.
Yeah. There we go. Greg Buchanan, my co-host. How's it going?
Just call me Pumpkinhead. Thank you.
There we go. Done and done. From now and the remainder of the shows. As well as Brandon Basler, you are the Lloyd FM morning show co-host. What's going on, man?
Happy to be here. Anytime I get to hang out with you two, it's always a good afternoon. So.
Well, of course, you had a great last week, too.
Great last week. Got a bit of a tan. Spent it in Mexico. I've been trying to stay up to date with the sports, but it's not that easy down in Mexico to follow hockey.
No, we actually have some people who watch our New Cap News down in Mexico.
Really?
So, yeah, you would have been in good hands, especially if you were following the Bobcats over the last week. Of course, their playoff run. They won Game 1 single-handedly with Christopher Ty in net. Very impressive. Game 2 didn't go their way, blowing a 3-goal lead and blowing several 1-goal leads in the process. Then going to White Court on Sunday, the team got demolished 5-1. So Christopher Ty finally back in net, the 4th goalie change made in 4 games. Didn't play the greatest, but did enough to earn a victory. The Bobcats coming down from a 2-goal lead and coming down from 2 1-goal leads by White Court to win it. Now, overall, the series is tied at 2. Game 5 goes tomorrow night here at the Civic Center. Where do you see this Bobcats team? Do you see the actual team that we've seen, especially over the last, say, month or so, that has been 7-1-2, perform Game 5 tomorrow night?
You know what? At the start of the season, after the season they had the previous year with the Bobcats, if you told them at the start of the year, we'll give you 1 game to win a playoff series, trust me, Gary would take it. And if you looked after Game 1, you thought going into Game 2, here's a chance for them to take a stranglehold on the series, going back to White Court for 3 and 4. Game 2 just didn't work out for him. Didn't hold on to leads and get some questionable goaltending, I guess you can say. And then, you know, on Sunday, they just got blown away. And so it was nice to see good character come back win. A rookie scores a winner in overtime. Go back home to Lloyd on Wednesday. White Court's got to be second-guessing themselves now on the long bus ride back to Lloyd to play that game number 5. But in a Game 5 situation, a winner-take-all, it's anybody's guess who's going to take it.
And I guess what's really nice is they got home ice, which they fought for throughout the entire season. Yeah,
you talk to Gary and he'll say, this is what we worked for. We worked for this one game. We played 60, to get where we are. And to think Game 4, you're down 2-0 after the first. A lot of teams would fold the tent, Okay, that's the year. But the way they fought back, I think a lot of those young guys is not only good for this year, but it shows that they do have kind of a nice core with these young guys and shows they do have a lot of character and a lot of heart. And maybe that's what they've lacked over the last few seasons.
Does that actually mean they squeak out a victory tomorrow night?
I can't see them losing this hockey game. After that great comeback, of course, you mentioned White Court. They're making the bus trip back today. What's going through their heads? We're 10 seconds away from going to the second round as an underdog. Now they're thinking, we got to pack up, head to Lloydminster. I can't see the Bobcats losing this game, but I guess you never know.
You know what? Game 7 situations or Game 5 situations in this case, home ice is great, but at the same time, if things aren't going well for you and you have a big crowd supporting you, it can work against you in a hurry. It can get you can feel a lot more pressure. All of a sudden, the longer White Court stays in the game, the better chance they have of Lloyd feeling that pressure that they got to get a goal. They got to win this game. And sometimes you love to be that road team, to go into a barn, win a big game like that. There's no better feeling, I know, playing the game that you go into another place's barn and you win a big playoff game and you walk out with a victory. That's even sweeter than winning at home.
What's even sweeter will be the NHL action that will be following up next season. Of course, Hockey Night in Canada still around for the next 4 years, that is, with Rogers Communications taking over and Sportsnet becoming the main facilitator for all the games, starting with Wednesday night hockey, Thursday night hockey, and the Saturday night, Sunday night combo. Now they have an introduction to a new co-host as they unveiled their team yesterday. This is actually Strombolopoulos, and George Strombolopoulos is who I'm
Say
referring
that
to.
5 times fast.
It's not easy. I had to look at the name for sure. But guys, what do you make of him being the guy that will take over that Hockey Night in Canada role. It will diminish Ron MacLean's role, who's been an icon. I think next to him has to be George in terms of the way he presents himself. I think that's the best way to put it. But do you feel this is a right move and a smart move by Rogers and CBC?
I want to see Don Cherry say his name, first of all. You know what? Could be worse. Could be Ben Mulrooney. But
You're stealing all my lines. I told him all these lines.
I think
co-host is going to be Martin Short.
I think it's a good solid move. I think people are misunderstanding where George's background came from. Actually, back in the day when he first broke into the business, worked for an all-sports radio station. 590. Yeah, so he does have some sports background. I watched his show a few times, and it's a very interesting show. He's a very well-spoken, and I love his interview style. He's going to go after a bit of a market that maybe Hockey Night in Canada hasn't gone after in the past. So Hockey Night in Canada is kind of going over their comfort zone right now to hire Strombo. But I think it's a solid move.
Put it this way, I don't think people are going to not watch hockey because of George. You know, they tune in to watch the hockey. I know for me, I'll tune in to watch the hockey, and I'll tune in to watch Coach's Corner, which is still Ron and Don. You know, that's still the same old song.
They'll still have that for another 2 years.
That's another 2 years. When you look at Ron MacLean, and you think of him being an icon and a Canadian legend, and he is all those things, it's when he's on the desk with Don doing Coach's Corner. That's what he's known for, and he's still going to be doing that. And, of course, they got him doing the new Sunday night hometown hockey, which is like a hockey day in Canada. Every Sunday he'll be traveling, and that's what he loves to do. So I think it was a great move, and I think it's going to work for everybody.
Or was it blown out of proportion for you guys that, you know, there was a lot of people saying, oh no, this is going to be the end? They were afraid of the Rogers deal to begin with, that Hockey Night in Canada would be kaput.
You know what? It tells you something about the game of hockey in our country, that we're this passionate about the game that actually there's a big debate of who's going to be hosting it on CBC. So that tells you something about the passion for the game of hockey and the passion for that show in Canada. Yeah, there's going to be some people that are so used to Ron MacLean being on there, they're going to be against George being there.
Well, he's been there, 27 years? You know, like, you hear the analogies, it's like you're checking in with an old friend every Saturday night. You know when you turn on the TV, he's going to be there, and he's going to be reading his poems about winter and hockey on the pond. Like, people are used to that. So I think it's the fact that people don't really like change, but I think once the change happens, it's not going to be a big deal.
All right, guys. Well, speaking of change, we don't want people to change their dials just yet. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we return, we'll have great topics coming up, especially who won, Luongo or St. Louis, in terms of the trade deadline.